All right, guys, just wanted to go over some rare items. These are rare items that you collect other small items for in-game in order to eventually turn them in for, valuable items that you can use yourself or you can sell to other players. These items roughly will sell for somewhere around, I want to say 120K to almost 4 million rubles. The items I'm going to go over today are the Hollow Dilinic. This thing right here, if you take out a few of these items every raid, you will basically make roughly around 750K every time you go to resell this. It's going to save you space as well. You can use this to hold the items that you need for your next ones that you make. And I mean, every raid I go in, I usually get about 3 to 4 of these items, whether it's the Tarkov, the herring, or these hot rods, or even squashes. These only take up 1 slot each, and over time, as you just take these out of the raid as filler slots for like the extra slots that you have available, you will make another form of passive income. Currently, this is selling for roughly around 750K. They drop to about maybe 650 to 630. It all varies on the supply and demand, right? But if we were to filter this item right now, it's at 758. Now to post one of these probably costs you about 20K. So you're looking at a profit of 740,000 rubles, depending on how much you want to undercut people. That's good money. The next ones that I would like to go over are going to be your sick cases and your Rebel Red Ice Pick. I believe it's the Ice Pick. I can't remember if that's how you pronounce it. Doesn't matter. It's what allows you to get out of certain areas on reserve, which we'll get into that in a second. So the sick case. This sick case, I believe, we'll see how much it's selling for right now. I just sold one of these yesterday. So see, right now it's selling for about 3.1 mil, or this right here would be close to 3.5. So if I bought this, I could resell this for about 500K more, if that makes any sense. So let's go back. Let's see what you need for this bad boy. So I've made about 3 or 4 of these personally for myself, and I've sold probably 2 to 3 by now since the initial reset. This is an item that was new to me because I've been overseas for the last 6 months, but it's really easy to get these items. So these paracords are actually they're kind of hard to find unless you know where to look for them. And these are primarily hidden in reserve. So there's a bunch of different places you can find these in reserve. They're usually in these blue lockers that are in most of the buildings, or the bunkers primarily. All the bunkers have a chance to spawn these on the shelves. They can be on the floor. They could be in the blue lockers as well. They're usually on the first, like the bottom floor level, or the second, where I guess if you've ever used a work locker, your boots would go on the bottom, and then maybe you'd have your regular shoes or other small clothing items would sit there. That's where it would normally sit. I show you guys a picture, but that's a lot of footage to look through, and today I've been kind of slacking, if that makes any sense. But my job here today is to give you a general knowledge of how to find these items. These paracords are selling for about 200K each right now. I've already found 4 since the last one I sold 3 days ago. Like I said, you can find them in those bunkers. You can find them on the shelves in the bunkers. They also spawn inside the toolboxes that are inside those caged areas underneath the train yard. And there's also another box inside the train yard where all the wood cutting materials are, near the machine gun in front of where the train comes in. That box right there can spawn them as well. So it's worth checking if all the scavs are dead. If you're on your scav, worth it as well. Toolboxes, you'll find those all over reserve. You'll find them in interchange. Interchange is where I find the rest of these items. If I'm trying to make money, guys, I go in for a specific item, and that's what I look for. And if I find others to go with it, that's awesome. So your toolboxes, your construction areas are going to carry the rest of these. Your nails, your tape, your duct tape. On the upper level of interchange, there are 4 or 5 different areas to find all of these materials. Not only can you find these, you can find your expeditionary fuel containers, your motors. Propane is actually on, and that's another thing we'll look into. You can find propane as well inside interchange. There's a lot of propane in there. The actual motors, which you're going to need for one of the other rare items I'm going to show you guys here in a second, those spawn in the hardware, like all the shelves on the outside of all the big convenience stores, you know, Iowa, Idea, and whatever the other one's called. I'm not really sure. So these are awesome. These make tons of money. So as we just saw, this sells for about 3.1 mil. I mean, if you find all these items while you're looting and shooting and, you know, scooting on through these maps, this is a very good passive income maker. Like I said, I've sold probably about 3 of these by now, and I've made 4 personally myself. I bought some of the materials so I could speed up the process. So I'll show you right here. So I've got 2 here, and then I got 1 on my character right now. So yeah, I mean, this is really good passive income, like stuff to make lots of money for doing bare minimal. This is the way to go. The next thing we're going to look at right now is your Red Rebel ice pick. So this ice pick, this allows you to get out of reserve, and not only does it allow you to get out of reserve, it's probably the safest extract on reserve. It requires 1 paracord plus this bad boy, and I mean, you get out with all your goodies. You don't have to go through a big pile, like big pile of super scavs. You don't have to extract on the train. You don't have to flip the switch and fight raiders. None of that shit. You just go to the top. If you're wearing level 6, the Zook armor, this crap right here, if you're wearing this or any other type of body armor, you can drop it. Not this. These you can climb out, which makes no sense because it's body armor too. Realistically, you can climb out with any of these items in real life. You would be able to. I think they're just trying to make it to where people have to drop something in order to get out, because otherwise you'd have guys just getting out like this 24/7. They added that feature later on, I believe. But if you don't even want to drop your armor, just bring Tactics in, guys. Tactics are super cheap right now. However, we'll go back to talking about the subject at hand. So you need 12 propane tanks. And if you guys are trying to farm exclusively for propane or motors, you can find these, like I said earlier, all of these can be found in the shelves and those big convenience stores on the outskirts of frickin' interchange. For this type of stuff, if you're trying to run to get these type of things only, if you want to maximize the amount of like items you can take out, I would actually recommend, this is what I used to do. I would run this. I would run these because this allows me to fit 1 more 4-slot item in there, or I would run these, the TV110s or the AVSs. Both can hold 2 slots. Awesome. And they're level 4 armor. Level 4 armor is pretty good armor unless you come across someone who's using, you know, top tier ammo. But even then, level 4 armor, if it's going to take 2 to 3 hits before they kill you, unless they're using like 7-in-1 and they get a lucky pen, then it normally will kill you in 1 shot, 2 max. But that, if you see them, you might have a chance to headshot them, right? So there's always these risks and rewards for everything. So it depends on how fast you want to get these items. But this is how I would do it if I wanted to make like more money than what I have now. Like this. Money is not an option in this game. It doesn't matter. Like once you get to a certain point, after you get to level 40, you can make money super easy. You know, the previous video to this, I talk about passive income through selling ammunition, magazines, stuff like that. That's where you make all your money, all right? Fuel conditioners. Fuel conditioner, which is another item you guys need for this, will spawn, a majority of the time it spawns in your like little bags. All those little gym bags that you see around the maps, I find them in them all the time. Like if I do a shoreline run, I can hit up probably about 6 or 7 to 12 actual different bags. And those bags, you know, maybe one out of those 12 bags will have fuel conditioner in it. Sometimes I've gotten multiple fuel conditioners to spawn. Labs, you can find fuel conditioners all the time in the little cage areas. Pretty freaking crazy if you ask me. The fuel conditioner also sells for about 90K to your, I believe it's therapist. Another fun fact, you see these little axes, 52K to Jaeger. I've gotten out of raid with 4 of these axes before, so keep that in mind. If you sell it to Fence for 28K, I mean, that's still good too, but just know that you can sell these to Jaeger for 52K. So defuels. So defuels, you can find these in construction areas. It's not as common in the construction areas, but where you will find them a majority of the time is shelves. Your shelves, so like Shoreline has those little shelves that are in the closets. Any closets will have defuel in them. Does that make sense? You have a higher chance of finding defuel in closets. I believe you can find them in some of the jackets. It's been a while since I've searched a lot of jackets, but defuel, I've commonly found them. If you go into anytime you go into interchange, always check those little tiny closets, the janitor closets. I've found like 2 or 3 defuels in one raid just in a closet, you know, in all the closets in the area. Because I spend my whole time in raid killing players, but looting as I move through. Like I don't go in and come right out. I spend the whole time in there. So a lot of times players forget or they don't pick up a lot of things, and I get to see all these things and take them without any no one can test you, if that makes any sense. The other cool thing about that is if I get out within like the last 5 minutes of a raid, 9 out of 10 times there's no one there, because most people get bored and they leave, right? It's kind of crazy. The next item we're going to talk about on the list of rare items that I think you guys should be trying to save up for, we're going to go back here. Let's go to mechanic. The ammo case. I get out of every raid typically with 1 to 2 of these regular gunpowders, right? These regular gunpowders, you can use 4 of these, and if you can make one of these green gunpowders through your workshop, your workbench, you can basically make 121 or 129K per, I think it's 121K per ammo case that you sell. You vendor it to therapist. You do not sell it, because if you were to try to do what a lot of these other people do, watch this. So this guy is losing quite a bit of money. So if I bought one of these, I'd make 6K off of him instantly. This guy, he's losing 1,000 plus whatever he posted, like the posting value was. Now, if I posted it for like these guys right here, 125K, you actually posting this for 125K, it costs you 5,000, right? And what happens is you actually still lose 1,000. You still lose 1,000 rubles. So you want to stay away from that, guys. If you're unsure of what something sells for, check it out first. Check the vendors, see how much it sells to each vendor, then look up how much it sells for. Do not lose money because you're not willing to do the extra work. And I mean, these guys, even though they want to do, they're trying to make money, or maybe they're trying to get their vendor status up so they can make and sell more stuff at a time. I don't think this is the way to do it, but to each their own. The next thing I would like to look at for rare items, and these are pretty much awesome, is your mechanic also has, where you at, buddy? Oh, well, there we go. This is the one. So this weapons case right here, you can farm the shit out of these. Computers have tons of wires in them. Interchange, really computer heavy. It's got like 4 or 5 different areas where there's lots of offices where you can search all these computers. That is huge. You can get all types of wires. You can pick up other things you can sell for a couple thousand each. You know, CPUs. You've got RAM. You've got CPU fans too. I mean, everything has value in this game. Everything is required for something, right? So keep that in mind when you're looting. Just because an item looks useless, someone might need that, and whatever they're willing to pay for it might be more than you think. So every now and then check out the vendors and see how much, or not the vendors at the flea market, and check how much stuff's selling for, because you would be surprised how much you can make. Some of the circuit boards sell for 13K a pop. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what people are using them for, but circuit boards at 13K each, I mean, for one item space, that's 13K. Your motors, you're going to find these once again in the outskirts, the big stores on all the shelves all around. You're going to find them all around Interchange. You can find them pretty much, yeah, anywhere. Like you find these on the inside the bunkers in the reserve as well. They also spawn. They have a chance to spawn on all the shelves, on the floors, inside those tiny bunkers. There's three different bunkers you can go in. These spawn all over those. Broken LCDs. These are kind of hard to find, but there's a way to also make 4 of them, and they're actually really cheap too. I mean, you can buy them for really cheap. The AESA, which I can't remember what it's called. I mean, I could go look for you. We can do that really quick. These sell for. Don't just sell these guys, because you do need one of them for a quest. But if we give me 1 second, if we go into our trade-in items, inspect. So this is your phased array element. That's why I didn't know what it was, because how often do you look at this? You just see the AESA. But anyway, this right here sells for roughly 121K. So it's filtered by item, 229K. So it's gone up. So it's a players that sells for 229K. Do not sell it. And I'll show you why. If we were to go to the weapons cases, of course, I forgot to do this, so now we're going to have to, it's just a case. So if we go to the weapons case, where you at, buddy? Right here. Your weapons cases are selling for 1.3 mil, right? This is actually pretty high. They were a lot lower before. So if we go back here, we go to trading and we look at our dealer, we look at mechanic real quick. This is 200K. So if you farm the rest of these, you're making 1.1 mil selling one weapons case. That's going to fund at least 4 top tier, you know, that's awesome helmet, awesome weapon, you know, awesome body armor, full kit, rig, everything. This will fund 4 raids with that type of equipment. Because I mean, if you think about it, it'll be 2 to 4, depending on what you put on your weapons and what gear you actually wear. But like for me, I wear top tier gear every time I go in, because there's a very high chance that the players I'm fighting against aren't using good ammo. And even if they are using good ammo, it gives me more of a chance to survive. So if I buy one kit for 500K and I use that and I survive for 4 to 6 runs in a row, I will end up making, you know, about 4 mil from those runs, from all the weapons, the armor, the gear, everything like that. So this one item you sell for 1 million actually goes a lot further than you think if you're taking the game slow and steady, if that makes any sense, and you're moving swiftly through areas and not just lingering, right? But yeah, so these are the items that I recommend you guys start working towards if you want to make more money, because these rare items are the ones that make money. They are the money makers. I can't tell you how many of these I've found and sold and stuff like that. Even if you guys are curious, marked room keys. Like, so a lot of people were complaining about hatchet runners and how they get all this loot and stuff. Well, most of the marked rooms that you're going to run into on reserve, well, I'll show you both the keys that you need for that. Both of these keys right here open really good loot spots. In one raid, I've gotten 2 weapons cases to spawn in one of these marked rooms, and the other one, I mean, it's pretty consistent about 5, 6 raids, you're going to get one of those rooms. If you're able to hit both of them, you're going to get a weapons case to spawn. That's another way to make money, is these keys right here. These keys only cost 75 to 150K. If you bring in decent gear, you might even have a chance against most of the players who come in there. And then even the boss scabs that spawn above the, I think it's the RBVO. That boss scav there, if you can work his boys and him, and you find a weapons case, which I have found and done, you will end up coming out of that raid with lots of money and value in items. Like, so keep that in mind, guys. Like, there's so many different ways to make money in this game, and rare items like those, the ones that I was telling you that you should be crafting and saving, those specific items, those are the items that you want to keep working towards, because it's just an item here and there. And as you take these items out over time, 10 raids later, you've already got a million, you've got 3 or 4 million, and you didn't even have to really work for it. It's just you going in the raid and doing your thing and getting out. So with that, I hope all of this was very informational for you guys. If it wasn't, let me know what I could do to improve better. I mean, maybe I could add some more photos of certain items and things like that. But I would also like to say, if you guys really need help finding things, there is a website that Battlestate actually put out. It's a wiki. And players like me and other people will go in there and they'll contribute to those pages to let you know where these items spawn, and they'll give you pictures and stuff like that. There's quests, there's all kinds of cool links on there. So if you want, which I will link that in the description below, check that out. Also, they've got ballistics pages. You should check that out as well if you're new to the game, because it's going to help you out a ton. Learning ballistics on these calibers of for each of these weapons is huge. It's going to help you put down players, and that's what we're all here to do. Is we want to kill players, all right? You don't want to shoot at someone and be like, why isn't he dying? No one likes that, right? So with that, we're going to cut the video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did. If you didn't, give me a dislike, give me some criticism. I want to hear it. I want to hear how I can make this better. But with all that being said, you all have a wonderful and happy new year. We'll see you in game.